Don't ever try to convince yourself that you're best buddies with your boss or that your relationship with your employer will stop you from getting let go or fired if you ever come in the way of them making additional money, right? These people, every job you go to, they have this, it's so fake, this like upbeat kind of like, we're all a team. We're a team, man. We love each other. So come here. I love you so much. Come over here. Give me a hug. We're best buddies. But the millisecond that you no longer make these people money, or that, let's say something comes up and they need to make budget cuts or they need to cut certain people, you'll be off without a second moment's notice. Like the corporate environment in particular is what I'm speaking to today, because that's what I'm involved in. But it applies to everything. It applies to construction, the grocery store, working in retail, anywhere you could go, restaurants, government jobs, anything, right? They try to paint this picture as if you're a family member or a close friend or somebody that, we'd never let you go. We'll find workarounds. But again, when push comes to shove, they'll let you go like that. And again, it's just the nature of the beast. The corporate world, the world in general is wicked, right? We know who runs this. The people of God know who runs this. It's the devil. God is not in control of the corporate world. I mean, he is. He's in control of everything technically, but the devil runs the corporate world. And when you think about what that world is made up of, it's all made up constructs that are not natural to reality. You know what's natural to the world? Farming, agriculture, architecture to a degree, stuff like that. You know what's not? Credit checks and sales and all this, all this other, where it's like people are just gathering in these massive buildings by the hundreds to like sell via the phone or to do marketing schemes and scams and to create ads. All this stuff is from the devil. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's like, you got to find a way to feed yourself, right? And, there's good in everything as well. Like there's good relationships that can come out of this and friendships. I work with some people I like a lot and I don't hate the job I do, but it's just, I acknowledge that as a person of Christ, there's going to be so much pushback, specifically at your work, because as we all know, the devil will come through people that that you interact with in the day to day. Because, he'll find the darkness in the world will find any opening it can into your life. And oftentimes we spend the most time with people either in our family or friend group or work. So they're going to choose people at the workplace, right? What I've experienced, and I wonder if you guys have as well, is that oftentimes these people have no real interest in what's going on in your outside life, outside of what they can use to potentially make you look stupid, or to try to bait you into saying the wrong thing, or to just try to gather information for like a monitoring spirit type of, almost like a monitoring spirit type of purpose. Not to get to know you better, but they almost have something in their back pocket to sabotage you with. It's very strange. So I'm in a position right now where I've been at the same place for around 2.5 to 3 years or so. And they've gone out of their way repeatedly not to give me a promotion, not to even give me a pay increase that every other person in my role up until this point has gotten. And in my opinion, I deserve the promotion. And as far as the pay increase every other person in my position has gotten, that should have been guaranteed just naturally over the amount of work and time I put into the company, and also the amount of money I brought in for them, which is good, which I've done a good job, right? But these people, man, and it's not all of them. I like the company for the most part, but there's some people that are directly in charge of my forward progression. And this has been the case at other jobs as well, that for whatever reason, I think partly jealousy and feeling as if they're not necessarily capable in their own ways or wanting to just stifle my potential. They go out of their way to make us feel as if we're not worthy of the next step, or as if we're not doing enough. So as people of God, as people of Christ, we get in the habit of always having to be 1 to 2 steps ahead of these individuals, because if we're not, then we're going to pay the price with losing our jobs or getting docked or getting, reported. While other people, like, it's crazy, man. The place I'm at, just to give a real world example, there's people doing 1/4 of the workload I've been doing since I got there 2.5 years ago with none of the additional effort. They'll call me out for things that they never bring up to other employees at the job. Like small, little, almost minute details that don't really mean anything. So I'm operating at almost 100% every day I'm there, because I'm going, well, if I make one mistake, these people are going to be on me like white on rice, right? So I'm looking around, and I've taken screenshots. I've taken records just in case I ever get fired, or in case this ever gets to a point where I have to defend myself. just to like show the difference between how I've been treated versus other people at the company have been treated in a similar position. And what happens with those other people that are worldly and just go to the job to kiss up to the manager and to do the bare minimum to get to the next step? They get promoted instantly because they're with the crowd, because they're down to clown. They're down with the whole game. And when they see someone like us who does not, like I take the job seriously. I work very hard. But at the same time, I'm never going to view the job as my end all be all. I've got stuff outside of work that is more important to me, frankly. My relationship with God, having happiness in my life, being at peace. And if any job starts to ask for too much, or starts to, really fight against that peace that I experience outside of work, is when I consider leaving, or when I start to pull back. And they don't like that, guys. This matrix world, this matrix corporate or just workplace in general environment does not want independent, free-thinking people. That's their worst fear. Because oftentimes these work environments and these corporate structures there's so much manipulation, there's so many lies, there's so many schemes going on simultaneously, but they all wear this mask of, we're your friend, we're your buddy. Yeah, we're stealing money from you. Yeah, we're docking your paycheck illegally. Yeah, we're, committing financial crimes. But at the same time, we're like your buddy. And the difference between us and these individuals that do this type of stuff is that as people of God, we're going to be transparent and straightforward. We're not going to kiss butt to get up to the next step, which does hurt us. Because they want you to kiss butt. They want you. A lot of managers and people in upper levels are very insecure, and they don't care so much about what work you're doing and how high quality the work is. They care, or how qualified you are for position. They care about you more so than anything else, pampering and tailoring to and kissing the butts of people in positions of power, because that's what they oftentimes had to do to get to that next step. And if you don't do it, they're going to go, who's this guy who thinks he's better than the system? So again, these environments are wicked, and they'll smile in your face while stabbing you in the back. We're the opposite. We'll come in and be real and honest with people, and they don't like that, because the whole fake facade of we're your friend and this is a team and a happy, cool environment, while they're like secretly gossiping about other employees and being incredibly disrespectful. I've overheard a lot of stuff at this place I'm at, incredibly disrespectful and gossipy about lower level employees, because they feel, oh, I'm at this position, I can say whatever I want, nothing can get back to me, while putting on this fake, again, the mask, smiling in people's faces, going, oh yeah, absolutely, we'll get you there, while being just demonic behind that person's back. So we don't operate that way as people of God. And it's not a reason to be cocky or arrogant. I'm not saying this to say, oh, look how good I am. I'm saying it to say I'm the same person when I'm on that Zoom or when I'm on that phone call as I am face to face, or as I am at any point in my life. I'm not going to put on airs, right? I'll be respectful to people, but at a certain point, I've got to call stuff out, or at a certain point, I'm going to have to leave, or I'm going to have to do something else, because I cannot tell you guys how many jobs I've been through, and it's always the same story. And I know you guys know as well, you show up, it's great for the first couple of weeks. You go, oh, I found my place. Or just like, there's some people that aren't amazing, but that's every job. Let's keep pushing forward. And then slowly but surely, people get triggered, or people get jealous, or people get competitive in a nasty way. And they see you're not like them, right? That's a big part I want you guys to focus on, is these individuals notice. They might try to show you they're not, to like convince you, oh, you're flying under the radar. They notice you. They know there's something different about you. They know you're not kissing butt. They know you're not, being extra and doing everything you can to get promoted. They know you have self-respect. They see the type of person you are, and it bothers them. It bothers their spirit. And even if for the first couple of weeks, the first couple of months, they're able to hide it, or it's not as much of a problem, the more you interact with these people because of what your spirit is and what it means and the truth it brings to the table, just by you being there, not saying anything, it's going to trigger these people to the point where you're going to start actively trying to attack you. And it's like the only thing I've been able to determine what it is number one, it's spiritual. It's them subconsciously doing it because you're triggering the unclean spirits they have associated with them in that workplace environment. But number two, it's just because they don't want it. Like, imagine going into a place that's been operating one way for like 60 years to 100 years, and then you bring in just completely different energy that starts challenging these old constructs and these old behaviors that people are settled into. Nobody likes change, or very few people like change, right? Change brings a feeling of uncomfortability, because you're expected to, switch up everything, like everything you've become accustomed to. And we're creatures of habit, man, as human beings. So when something comes in and it just acts as like an agent of change in an environment that's very, very caught in their habits, it's not going to be a welcome person, or it's not going to be a welcome person in that environment. So that's one way to look at it. Another thing I want to speak to is never underestimate how petty some people are, because, someone from my work might stumble upon this video and go, oh, this guy's so narcissistic, he's so arrogant, am I spending my own personal time to surf the internet looking for something you wouldn't be able to find unless you went to like a private investigator or something? So I'm saying figuratively, right? Because I've had employers find my private social medias somehow. And I don't think it's fake of me to speak this way. This is off work time, right? So I can say and do whatever I want. It's my free will. If you want to do something about it, you can. For anyone that's hearing this, I don't care anymore. But really what I want to get at is that you don't ever be surprised or taken off kilter by the fact that most people are fake. Most people are wearing masks. They'll say and do oftentimes whatever they need to do to get forward in life, because that's the nature of the beast. Again, I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to be depressed. I want to be able to keep up with the Joneses, impress my high school friends and my college friends. That's more important than anything else. So let me put on this mask of impartiality, pretend that I'm part of the crowd, even if I'm not, and just move forward. What happens is what happens. I need to join the crowd or I'll be left behind. And what that type of thinking leads to is, if you're working with somebody who you know is a good person, but you can, let's say, move forward by screwing over, or in your head move forward by screwing over, these people will not hesitate to do it. So these coworkers that are your buddies, these management people that are your buddies, they're your buddies as long as you benefit them, or as long as you make them look good. Okay? I don't really believe in workplace friendships, or they exist, but I don't really believe in like being best buddies with your boss or anything, because again, they know we're different. They know we don't act by the same rules. They know we're not fake. They know we're not trying to screw anybody over. And when someone with an unclean spirit, who's doing all those things in the shadows, who's being gossipy, who's hurting people secretly, who's lying, who's scheming to try to make sure that they get forward, but is putting on this mask of being a super friendly, nice person, when they see someone who's a genuine human being like us, who's not doing that, who, if they are going to do something, they're going to say it outright, and they're not going to hide behind, fakeness. They're just going to be direct and say, hey, this is what bothered me. I want to speak about this. It's going to scare people who are fake. And these workplaces are designed to be fake, especially in the United States, because a lot of people are terrified of confrontation, even if it's professional. And they find it a lot easier to do the sneaky, snake-like behavior behind people's backs while being very friendly face to face. So don't ever get surprised if you get snaked out of a position, or if you get purposefully lied to or dragged along, or have your name potentially ruined in a professional setting, and it's all due to jealousy. Don't ever be surprised if you and rack your brain thinking, what did I do? A lot of the times it's not what you did, it's what you didn't do, right? As in, you didn't kiss butt, you didn't change who you are fundamentally as a person, which you don't need to do. You just need to do the job and do it well, ideally. But again, a lot of these people in these workplaces are incredibly immature. They're, housing a lot of unclean spirits, a lot of jealousy, envy, pride, negative competition, wrath, and again, that slave master spirit that certain managers have, where they want to have power over you. And if they see somebody that they can't get that butt kissing from, or that natural, ooh, that person's not bending their knee to me like all these other people, don't be surprised if they try to destroy your career while putting on that mask as if they're your best friend. So and again, I want to reference, I believe it's Matthew 10:16. I could be wrong about this. The Bible verse, behold, I send you out, what I forgot exactly what it was, but it was about being as wise as serpents and guileless as doves. I believe that's Matthew 10:16. Could be butchering it, but I believe that's accurate. And essentially what's being mentioned in that quote is that the world is a very, very tricky, deceitful, evil place. Don't get it twisted. It's an evil place here, right? And like we were discussing with the corporate world, there's a lot of people that put on that mask of being sheep when they're really snakes. So we have to keep our innocence. We have to maintain our good disposition, our love towards our brothers and sisters, but we also have to acknowledge what people are capable of. So we have to be wise. So again, this isn't a video to discourage anybody. If anything, this should be motivation, because right now I'm trying to work on side hustles and things that'll bring me to the place that I want to be in life, so that I no longer am going to be beholden to a management that doesn't respect me or like me, or just a workplace that doesn't treat me right. So that should be the goal of everybody, is to get to a place where you no longer have to be like a slave, essentially, to an environment that you don't want to be a part of. So God bless, guys. Stay safe out here. It is getting nutty, especially just energetically for the people that can feel it. If you know, it is getting dark. So try to just stay as positive as possible, draw closer to God, further away from the world. And until next time, this is Mark. Good checking in. God bless. Bye-bye.